Oh, it's painful, isn't it, old chap? Oh dear, dear, dear. Yes, it's painful. What am I talking about? Just everything in general at the moment is just so painful. We're going to talk about that pain, that very real type pain. That pain that not many people talk about. That pain of just being able to see things a little bit clearer. You don't even need to be that asleep at the wheel. Yeah? You don't even need to be a scientist or an expert to be a bit of a visionary. And yet when you can see a little bit further ahead, the pain is so real, isn't it? So we're going to talk about that a little bit today, because I think we need to. Yeah, we need to talk about the pain just a wee bit. You got Starmer, who's in India at the moment, telling everybody how amazing the digital ID of over 1 billion people have just accepted it. That's quite the statement, isn't it? Just accepted it, over 1 billion people. Didn't have anything to do with just a wee bit of coercion, like, people needing it to be able to operate and function and live their lives. And I was about to say in society, which, as I keep saying, is becoming less appealing by the day anyway, in regards to both fitting in and operating within society. So I'm not too worried about things moving forward in regards to that. But already, so over 1 billion people accepted this, and it's making such a positive impact. Yeah, I bet it is. So already they're coming out to say what we've already been saying. That the selling points of this, well, it's not just about stopping illegal workers anymore, which is what it was all about initially. No, they must have run the algorithms on that, and people were like, not quite buying that one, chief. So they've had to do a bit of a switcheroo, and actually now they think, whoever's advising them is thinking it's a good idea to actually tell them what the actual plan is. Yeah, that this thing will be able to be used to encapsulate all of your life. Yeah, with the latest now being that it will help you deal with and access your money, because you needed help with that, didn't you? Yeah, because you're the same pleb who can't go into Nando's and decide whether he wants another drinky pops. I can't have another glass of drinky pops because Daddy says no. Sneeze, Daddy. And there's the pain right there. That's the pain I'm talking about. It's often manifested as sarcasm for me. And I often have to very consciously try and convert that bitterness into things like humour. Otherwise I find myself going into a real type of bitter hole of the mess that is being created. Of the other big point I want to make in this video, apart from coming back to the pain that I'm talking about, is we vastly underestimate how many people want to be governed harder, Daddy. Post 2020 taught us a lot, at least it should have done. And what it taught me, among many other things, what are some of the big lessons? First one, we're never safe or effective at any time. That's a big lesson. The other one was that we're living around, let's call them at this stage, many authoritarian types who are either already in that sort of mindset or very much geared up to be. And why is that? That could be because of indoctrination. Of course, that's a lot of that connected to that in regards to, they start out with the dictatorship style point scoring, dobbing people in type stuff very early on through the indoctrination in school. It's been told to mine. At least he said please. Cyclist. Does he want a bit of my bitterness? Mine, please. Oh, well, like I said, at least if he'd have said mind, I'd probably chased after him. No, I wouldn't. I'm not that angry. I was about to say, actually, I want these type of videos. I want them to be extra honest. I'm trying to work out whether it's me getting more angry or society. And I think it's me. But anger, as I said, it's not the best emotion to run your life on, because that's the type of fuel that can burn out very quickly. Yeah, it's like banging like continual wood on the fire. You're not allowed wood fires now anymore, are you? Anyway, but banging and it's just burning out all the time. Yeah, so it's going to burn you out. So I much prefer bitterness and sarcasm and a bit of humour. So we'll stick with that for now. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was talking about pain, and I was talking about what I learned from post 2020. So I learned, again, these are the lessons as we approach into this new biggest challenge that we now face in regards to a complete takeover of anything that was ever private or anything regarded as sovereignty in humanity, and as you as an individual being able to live your life and not being able to drink a couple of drinky pops, full fat sodas is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to all of this. So what I learned post 2020 is very simple. Is if you tell the plebs that they can't go on holiday, then they're probably going to succumb to the plan. So bitterness and being negative dash reality, that line between those two is very thin. Why? Because it's just the way it is. I'm just, being real here. Unfortunately, post 2020 has taught us that there's enough people out there that want to be governed. They'll be told that they can't go on holiday, so they'll succumb to something just on the very basics of that type of stuff. So in regards to this potentially coming in, there's a strong possibility, unfortunately. Okay, that's just where we are now. In regards to a focus and moving forward, and I believe I do most of my videos now, if not all of them, for people who are probably of a like-minded mindset, people who have been able to see a little bit further than their frigging feet, and they've already been saying things like, this is going to be used as a social credit scoring system, this is going to be used to stop people travelling, it's going to be used to control people's finances and money, it's just going to be used to do everything that we've ever talked about and became more conscious of post 2020. I believe I do videos now for more like-minded people who've been able to see things moving forward. So I just want to give a shout out, because I know that pain that I'm talking about is very real. It hurts, and jokes aside, it has actually led to a lot of people losing a lot of people in their lives. Again, we're using post 2020 as an example here, but being able to see a little bit further forward than your frickin' toes has meant that you've lost relationships, you have arguments, it's meant that your overall life has probably crumbled around you. Yeah, and well, if you're new to the old game, I've always been kind of, I've always questioned things, and this is all part of that pain as well, because when it comes to socializing and being around people, now what happens is you're looking at the why now. You're looking at why are they doing that? Why are they saying that? Why do they have that opinion? And it's that why, again, that can lead to a lot of the pain that I'm talking about. And these are the things that people aren't really talking about a lot, but it's a shout out because I want you to know you're not alone. And, well, check out the comments, because I think a lot of people will agree that they feel and think exactly the same. Post 2020, a lot changed. People's relationships broke down. They're arguing with people. Work relationships broke down. Family units in some circumstances broke down, maybe in a lot. And this, people, you could say, this is the I was going to say it's the price. the price of being able to see a little bit further ahead, compared to people who either want to be governed or just want to stay naive, which, well, those two generally tend to go together anyway, don't they? So the pain is very real, guys, and it comes with consequence. It comes with responsibility, because you're going to find that people who aren't willing to, the more authoritarian type mindset, that we saw post 2020, like, what comes to my mind is that guy standing in the shop front with his black mask, and all I saw with his eyes, he was telling me I couldn't go into his shop. That level of indoctrination, dictatorship mentality, it's all victimhood type stuff. It's all victimhood. It's the opposite of taking responsibility. They want to be governed because they don't want to take responsibility. They never did. They're, in a lot of cases, I'm talking about a guy there in a job, but a lot of these people with things like digital ID coming in, they'll be sat at home twitching their curtains on universal basic income, pressing the button, reporting you because you've had an extra full fat frickin' drink. Right? They're on their UBI, the universal basic income. They're on their benefits, and they're being governed harder, and they're okay with that. Why? Because they're victims. They probably hate their lives. They hate people around them, and it fits in with them and their agenda nicely. They sit home probably playing computer games or something, and they hate you. And the people facilitating it all hate you too. So they're like that all together. One big hate party. They love it. I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it. People in positions of influence and power, they're typically narcissistic and psychopathic, at the very minimum sociopathic. Right now there are countries sentencing people to death for criticizing the state. Do you not believe that most of these narcissistic, psychopathic leaders, people who we're told are in positions of influence, do you not believe that they would want that level of fear and control and power? Because if you don't, may I suggest that you're an incredibly naive person. When you see footage of the crowd in North Korea crying or laughing out or applauding, basically doing everything that they're told at the drop of a hat, because they're so fearful, because they do that, because they'll literally be put to death. Do you not think, as a narcissistic psychopath, you would want that level of sycophantic fear? Because if you don't, you're very naive. And I'll keep saying it, it's a constant reminder. Digital IDs, social credit scoring systems, whatever you want to call this crap, a centralized globalist wet dream, is very much the footsteps towards that. Of course it is. I mean, we're already slaves. Some of us more than others. Some of us don't even know and realise how much we are. But we're all slaves at different levels. But one thing you can guarantee, that if stuff like the digital ID comes in, and we approach 2030 with some of the other goals and aims of what's being talked about in regards to, leading up to 2030, you can absolutely guarantee that we'll all be slaves. 99.9%. Because in these type of societal structures that they operate within, where they indoctrinate people to believe that they're getting a free ride, the curtain twitchers on their UBI thinking that everything will be alright because daddy's in charge, you get nothing for free. Absolutely zero. Nothing. And they just don't see it. Probably never will. But there will always be that tiny percentage of people sitting in their golden towers, because that's how it works, right? But I'm doing this video, like I said, to highlight that the pain is real. Many people are experiencing it. You're not alone. And that's what I wanted to focus on. Alright? You have a great day. Ta-ta.